Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Hopefully this isn't breaking up on you as bad as it was just a second ago. Let me know if it is cutting in and off, and I'll just reset the whole thing. Anyway, welcome to Clown Planet Daily Wrap-Up. You're here for December 3rd, 2025, 9:18 p.m. Feast of St. Francis Xavier. I'm early, and that's probably why everything's not working right. I did put together 3 videos today for approximately about an hour and a half of video. So the computer might be dying right now as they tell me that it wants to take a vacation. If I have to reset it, let me know if it's stringing up on your end, please. I can't tell on my end if it's not or not. I just know that when I hit the button to start, it just kind of froze up a little bit. Anyway, let's get right to it. Australia police bust Sydney satanic child sex abuse ring. Australian police said that they charged 4 men based out of Sydney suburbs for their alleged involvement in distributing images of child sexual abuse involving satanic themes to a wider international group. Here's their Twitter thing. The detectives have charged 4 men. Strike Force Constantine. That's a good movie, by the way. It's a fun movie. I don't know if I could. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's good. I gotta look back and see if the definition of good still exists. 20 years ago when I saw it, it was good. No, Strike Force Constantine was established by the State Crimes Command Child Exploitation Internet Unit. That's a long, darn name for a group. 4 men alleged to be part of a wider ring sharing images. 46, 42, 39, all 3 were charged. I was looking for the satanic part of it because torturing kids. There it is. Police will allege in court that the international group was engaging in conversations and the sharing material which depicted child abuse and the torture of children involving symbols and rituals linked to Satanism and the occult, she said. You probably have to be that way to do that stuff. Get rid of it. Trump suggests he'll soon slash or end the income tax. Once the future Canadian President DJ Trump signaled Tuesday that the federal income tax could soon be gone. Good evening. Welcome to the program, bud. Happy to have you here. Trump laid out the vision of economic freedom powered by massive tariff revenues from foreign nations, putting America first instead of bleeding hardworking citizens dry to fund globalist giveaways. Now, my 2 cents is I don't think he's going to do that. It's a lot of talk. He mentioned this a year ago. He mentioned it 8 months ago. Because if you ever watched me and Rick on News from the Pew, I said if he would do it, I'd get the red hat. Not that it would sell up. I would just get the hat. Plus, for him to do that, he's got to get a Constitution Amendment to renege on that. And he can't just do it by a pen. And on top of that, in the Fed, anybody heard that for the last, 10, 15 years? That hasn't happened, even though people have promised. And if the tariffs don't go through, where's that money going to come from? The Costco lawsuit, not that Costco is going to make or break the part of it. But if the SCOTUS rules against the tariffs, then he don't have that tariff money to give away to everybody. So how are they going to get the money? They're going to have the income tax. Not that we haven't survived without income tax or tariffs before. We have long ago. But since we're an empire, we need to steal everyone else's money so we can keep the empire going. Ozempic meals at New York City. Yeah, New York City sports bar. Restaurants introduce Ozempic menus with mini versions of their most popular dishes as weight loss drugs / diner's appetite. A growing number of restaurants is catering to customers on Ozempic by offering pint-sized portions. Daily Mail recently dined at Clinton Hall in Midtown Manhattan and tried its teeny weeny mini meal designed for those on GLP-1 medications, which decreases appetite. The miniature burger dish, which is more than the size of a slider than a full-size burger, comes served with just a shot glass of a few fries and a syringe of ketchup. The restaurant states on its website, "Get a shot of fun, no prescription needed." The $8 meal Also comes served with a choice of a mini beer, mini martini, or weenie wine. Holy smokes. Look at that. China Hall, the teeny weeny mini meal. Pictured above is the mini meal on the right, and the Clinton Hall's normal burger offering on the left. Dude, and what is that thing over here? If that's $8, what's that? 50? Welcome, my Canadian brethren. Oh, Canada. The Bernie, how you doing, man? Appreciate you. Great Scott, bright bite-sized Bernie. That mean I can eat that on 3 bites. That's $8. Why would you even do that? Just get a hot dog on the street. It tastes better too. I just saw this before coming on. Rand Paul, excuse me, he joined Bloomberg to discuss his healthcare plan, HSAs for all, buying insurance across state lines, which is good, and real negotiating power for millions and millions of Americans through places like Costco, Amazon, and Sam's Club. President Trump and I worked on this before, and I'm ready to work with him again to fix our broken system. There's more than that just needs to happen, but that's a good start. What needs to be done is government out of the healthcare industry. As Cheryl Atkinson says, the problem isn't just insurance. Everyone having insurance has allowed the unchecked inflation of healthcare prices in every sector. In fact, it could be argued that more people having insurance has become a big part of the cost problem. Amen, sister. It means providers know they will get paid for the exorbitant fees they charge. No market pressure to be fair, competitive, or realistic. As long as it's guaranteed that somebody, you and I, through premiums, taxes, will pay the unfair prices, they will keep going up. Ensuring more people won't fix this. It's similar to why college tuition is outrageously high. There are loans and grants that will pay the exorbitant cost at other people's expense. So no pressure to be reasonable or fair. I can't write that any better. That's fantastic. She's 100% right. I mean, because you don't need insurance to go if you have a hang-up. You can pay with cash. We used to have a cash price and an insurance price when I did medical sales as an assistant. Those little bracelets, those bracelets that you see, wrist brace, $9 cash price. I don't know what they are now, but that was 20. What was that? 2011, 2010, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, $9. Guess what insurance costs? $115 they billed out. You have a thumb, it's $12 for cash, $200 insurance bill out. And then you get the knees, ankles, all that stuff. I sold by the way, if any of you guys have anybody that plays sports as kids, they usually put them in a brace, right? Ankle brace. You build out, and we sold the best ones out of Charlotte. It was the best ankle brace out there. And we had the field of 64, and 60 out of the 64 teams would wear that brace. It's the ASO. It was from MedSpec, Medical Specialties. There was a guy who built 2 companies. What's the name of it now? Topical Gear. And he started another one because he saw his daughter sprain her ankle, and insurance couldn't do anything for it. He's like, I started 2 orthopedic companies. I need to be able to do something. So he created this as Topical Gear. He's actually done a little bit more on his website. And I didn't know he did the elbow. I sold this one and this, the Pro Taco and the knee. He did more on the knee. That's pretty good. He upgraded a lot of that stuff. The knee for the athletes, cool. Bill Blue is his name that started this thing. He ran this, and it's all started because of his daughter. This thing right here, the Pro Taco ankle, Penn State volleyball team wore it for 3 years. 0 ankle injuries. They got a new sports medicine person the next year. Got rid of those things. They won the national title 3 years in a row. No injuries, 3 years in a row, national title. New trainer comes in, gets rid of them. They end up getting hurt. They don't come in near the national title. I saw this thing work we sold it out. I went to a volleyball tournament with him. We sell it to majors, a big, huge thing. And a couple of young girls bought them. And they would come up next time, hey, I need to get another one. We would ask why. She goes, last time I stepped on somebody like that, I couldn't play for 3 months. I did the same thing and I'm fine. With that ankle, with the knee thing, I saw a lady walk in, mother, hobbling. I told her, here, just put this on. I want to see what this does for you. You don't have to do anything. I put it on for her, put the buttresses on, because what it is, the buttress activates things. With that taco thing, it activates. So when it moves, your ankle shifts, that buttress activates some tendons in your ankle and it forces it back over. It's automatic. And so she took 2 steps with that knee thing. And no kid, if I'm lying, I'm dying. She grabs her credit card and goes, what did you just do? I go, I just put it was a buttress behind on the hammy and right on the quad for a female. And it worked perfect. What it did, and that was to prevent ACL injuries. No doc would buy any of these because they don't have any L codes, because they're all about preventive injury. You get a brace, one of those braces in your leg, you go to a doc and they give you a brace, that L code out. Guess what that does? It makes your joint weaker. So it's like a crutch. Doesn't make it stronger. It's weaker. And then on top of it, your shoes are supposed to be like in basketball. You got high tops or mid tops. They're supposed to help out with your ankles. You put this big gigantic thing in there. It breaks away that thing. Now your shoe is worthless now. Higher chance to sprain your ankle. The taco thing is is about the size of a sock. You put that on, you do anything. To the point that if you're sitting down, it will actually not hurt you, but it'll be kind of a nuisance because it's activating your foot. And now you're not standing on it. So you need to take the darn thing off because you're resting. You're not playing anymore. If you're walking around, fine, no problem. But if you're sitting down, it would it's activating your ankle and you don't need it. Anyway, just thought that I was throwing that out there these things are not insured. You can get stuff that helps you and it's not insured stuff. Yeah, zero ACL tears after wearing the knee from topical gear. Here's the doctor. Here's another. I script T95, 225 knees for hundreds of baby boomers through the telemovement program. Yep. There's all the research. Again, like I said, here's the story. There, Bill Buchanan, he talks about his daughter right there. Yeah. So I used to hang out with the guy. There's Senator Ted Cruz. Tel Aviv Cruz lays down how the Trump account investments would work. Take a little girl born next year. The account opens. $1,000 is automatically seeded. Her parents, her family, her employers puts $5,000 each year. Assuming growth of S&P 500, which is 7% a year, by the time that little girl is 18, she will have $170,000 in that account. Now, if you throw in inflation, it's probably got about $15. If she keeps saving, by the time the little girl is 35, she will have $700,000 in that account. Yeah, there's also monkeys might fly out of my butt. This is game changing. We're not talking about children of Michael and Susan, the children of Donald Trump, the children of people with great success. We're talking about kids of a single mom waiting tables so they could have $700,000 saved by the time she's 35. That changes lives. Also, it's also unconstitutional because I don't see anything in that Constitution where it says the general government is able to give anybody $1,000 of other people's money to start out an account. Everyone is sharing this like some miracle, but the math they're selling to you is a fantasy. Yes, none of this stuff. They just make up stuff, and you just buy it. No. This isn't game changing. This is distraction dressed up as hope. The money is locked away for decades. It doesn't help with rent, food, medical bills, survival today. It does nothing to fix wages, housing, corruption, price gouging. The real reasons families are drowning. Yeah, it is. Like I said, it sounds good, but yeah. Just now, here's the breakdown on how the new Trump savings account for children will work. I mean, if Putin does this, and people will go, "Oh, Putin's a dictator." Hello. Parents can contribute $5,000 annually. Employers at $2,500. How many employers does a 5-year-old have? Money can be withdrawn at age 18, so you can't do anything. It's kind of like a. Remember the savings bonds? You just think those are cool. You can't touch it for 20 years. Yeah, the whole thing reminds me of Scott's Tots. Yeah. Just get rid of the income tax and property tax. And we can do this on our own. Simple. He's 100% right. If you want to just, you don't need daddy government to do that. Just get out of the way in the property tax, in the income tax, and you're good. Because then when the lady would say, like, the girl wants to take out $700,000 afterwards, because she's taxed 40%, 50%. Yeah, thanks. FDA commissioner says data showed 10 child deaths due to what shots. Well, I know that they've stopped flagging this, but they haven't. I know people that have gotten taken down from it. Breaking, Chinese health officials are going door to door to spray toxic chemicals to disinfect the entire schools. Remember seeing this before? Yeah, it's same show, different thing. Dr. Peter McCullough testifies in U.S. Senate, and the evidence is jaw-dropping that injections should have had black box warning for death, and he presents the largest peer-reviewed autopsy series in the world. You can read the rest of this on your own because, again, what will inflation do to that? Turn it into just like the $1 million bill in Zimbabwe? Yeah, 700,000. It's like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 100 grand was bad. That guy's cooking. 100 grand now, you're in poverty. 100 grand in 1980, 1990, you're living it up. You're like living on the east side, moving on up. Now 100 grand, you go to Denver, Colorado, 100 grand, you're in poverty. You're on Medicaid. You're not 100 grand, a couple in the 1980s, 1990s. You're not on Medicaid. Today, 100 grand, you're on Medicaid. So what is 700? Take half, maybe less. And that's not just Denver, Colorado. There's other people. Treasury just turned in the worst October budget deficit in history. And Dr. Peter St. Onge is not a anti-Trump or anything like that. He's pretty much on board. Taxes actually jumped by 24%, but spending soared by over $100 billion with the Republican Congress that always says, we got to stop spending. We got to cut costs. We got to be conservative. All that stuff always happens. Every time you get played, these guys always, it's just like here, this team is bad because this team's in charge. Right now, Republicans in charge, the other team's bad. And the other guys are good guys and then it flip-flops. Seesaw. This guy's going to be the good team. These guys are the bad. These are the bad guys. These are good guys. And then seesaw. These are the bad guys. These are the good guys. Seesaw. Every 4 to 8 years, every time this happens. And every time the GOP always says that, we're going to cut spending. They never have done that. Even Reagan never cut spending. They've cut ever since Lincoln. CDC to nuke newborn hepatitis B vaccine recommendation. Farmer Shill, cable news actress, very concerned about imminent CDC hepatitis B summit. You can read the rest on your own. All these are in the show notes. How things in Charlotte? Well, no change. We got plans. We're working on things. Others are doing 5D chess moves. I'll just tell you this. The priests here are smart guys. They're not pansies. They know what they got ideas. They're working on ideas. They're doing things. They're not going to let things just get ran over. Pray for them. Give them the perseverance to last the whole way through and the courage to do it all. Obviously still down on everyone's still down on a lot of things. But hope springs eternal. Not much we can do right now, but you're playing with the card that the dealer gives you. And but there's people that we got people working on ideas that most ain't public information out there. But yeah, we'll see. And who knows down the road what happens. We'll pray for the Grinch's heart to grow 2 sizes that one day, soften maybe. We'll see. But I don't know, just keep us in your prayers and all that. It's still going. Let's say that. We're down, but not out. Appreciate you asking. After decades in combat, a SEAL suddenly comes under scrutiny. Admiral Frank Bradley will soon face questions from lawmakers as Republicans and Democrats express concerns about a September 2nd boat attack on a boat in the Caribbean. They're trying to throw him underneath the bus and back it over him multiple times. Here's Last American Vagabond, Ryan Christian. Donald Trump has advocated for taking guns away from American citizens, 2018, that's on the left, and 2025 on the right, without due process. And for those constitutionally challenged, the whole point of due process is that it's given before the action. As Trump said, take their guns first, due process later. Not exactly a good idea. And here's what happened is the gun rights groups condemned Trump's DOJ for defending National Firearms Act. Here's the link right here. Gun rights groups have labeled legal arguments advanced by the Trump administration an ongoing lawsuit as the most anti-Second Amendment ever filed by a Republican administration. GOA, Gun Owners of America, a leading gun rights organization, have strongly condemned the brief filed by the Trump-era DOJ, calling it an alarming, expansive theory of federal authority, which is always the problem. The problem is centralization. The problem is the 14th Amendment. The problem is nationalizing everything. The plaintiffs argue that when Trump signed his One Big Beautiful Bill Act into law, the One BBB, Build Back Better Act, into law on July 4, 2025, a bill that removed the NFA's $200 transfer of manufacturing tax on silencers, short-barrel rifles, and short-barreled shotguns. A tax removal rendered the entire NFA unenforceable. 15 states, including Texas and Florida, joined in a lawsuit to support the organizations. You want more of this? I guarantee Rick, the Armed Catholic, will have more detail about this. Check him out. Prosecutors used flawed AI to keep a man in jail, his lawyers say. The case is among the first in which the prosecutor is accused of filing court papers marred by AI general mistakes. Great googly moogly. Here's Once the Future King's son, President DJTJ's. His company backed by DJTJ firm nabbed $620 million government contract. Vulcan Enterprise. I wish I could do the Vulcan design. Vulcan Elements, a rare earth magnet startup backed by DJTJ's VC firm 1789 Capital, has secured a $620 million contract from the U.S. DOD, as reported by the Financial Times. I'm sure that's just like Brandon. And that's not no collusion, nothing like that. Now, if Brandon did that, people would be upset. If Pelosi did that, people would be upset. But yeah, TJ did it. It's all good. Nothing but a thing. Here's Lindsey Graham. After we talked about this yesterday, Pope urges U.S. not to attempt military ouster of Venezuela's Maduro. Zionist Lindsey Graham, without a credible threat of the use of military force, nothing changes in Venezuela, even though we gave the dude from Honduras who had a 45-year prison sentence for trafficking cocaine. He's cool with us. We gave him a pardon. When it comes to Maduro, the time for talking is closing. The time for action to end this reign of terror in Venezuela is upon us. I would urge the Holy Father to be on the right side of history when it comes to ending Maduro's reign of terror in the Venezuelan people, the United States, and others throughout the region. We need to kill more people. I don't know why the Pope don't have it in him. The use of military force to evict Maduro will only be required if Maduro insists on remaining as the illegitimate leader, because that's what we tell us, of a narco-terrorist state, which we gave the pardon to an actual narco-terrorist. But hey, who cares? He has stolen elections. Not that we had never done that. Collaborates with terrorists like the Hezbollah. Not that we'd never done anything like that. Sits atop the notorious drug cartel. Not that the CIA does anything like that. And has flooded our country with hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens. We'd never done anything like that. As President Trump said, when it comes to Maduro, we can do it in the easy way or the hard way. I would urge the Holy Father to spend his time and energy persuading Maduro to take the easy way out for all. So, yeah, I'm glad to see people are trashing Graham on this. Good on them. I don't know how many Catholics have jumped on the side of the Holy Father on this. I haven't seen any really, but hey, good on the people that are going after Graham. The Pillow Man, Mike Lindell, registers to challenge Tim Walz in Minnesota's governor's race. So you got over here on one side, in this corner, Timmy Walz. In this corner, Mr. Pillow. My Pillow CEO, Mike Lindell, has filed paperwork to run for governor of Minnesota. Registering a campaign committee allows them to begin raising money, the Star Tribune reported on Wednesday. Lindell said his candidacy is not yet certain, but promised to announce his decision by December 11th. News conference. Good on him, though, if he's doing it. It's people thinking locally, act locally. You need to worry about your state. You need to get in state politics. People like that, that's a good thing. So more people need to do that. If you admit people in Minnesota complain about Mike Lindell running and they didn't decide to run, I would tell them, say, all right, stop yapping. Talk is cheap. Go run yourself. But hey, Mike Lindell, good on you for running. Israel to open Rafah crossing for exits only. Israel announced on Wednesday that the Rafah border crossing with Egypt will open in the coming days, but exclusively for the exit of residents from the Gaza Strip to Egypt. The rest of them will probably get slaughtered. Parenthetical point. Documentation confirms asylum was granted in 2025 under DJT, fueling renowned scrutiny for immigration policy and political blame games. This is on the DC shooter asylum. You've heard about this. We talked about this before. I got more info coming in on here that's of interest. What were the Afghan Zero Units that sources stated the National Guard shooting suspect worked for? An image of the ID badge, but we already seen that before. Okay. Let's see, been part of Zero Unit. The units were exclusively composed of Afghan nationals and operate under the umbrella of the National Directorate of Security, or NDS, and the intelligence agency established with CIA backing for Afghanistan's previous previous U.S.-backed government. They were considered by the U.S. and international powers to be among the most trusted domestic forces in Afghanistan. Those units are often labeled death squads by human rights groups. These units are known in Afghanistan for secrecy and alleged brutality, and members were implicated in numerous extrajudicial killings of civilians, particularly during night raids. The U.S. official briefed the investigation, confirmed the suspect had been disturbed by the casualties in this unit, and more recently, deeply troubled by the killing of his close friend overseas. The image, so this kind of throws in the old thing, that's just because he's Muslim. There's more to deal with this stuff. The image of the ID badge, also, because you don't just drive from Washington State all the way over to D.C. just because, I'm Muslim. There's other things you could do in between there. There was a reason why I did that. I don't know. I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying there's a reason, and it ain't what you're getting told by TV. The special forces in Kandahar, the southern Afghanistan, inside what the previously compound of the Taliban founding member, blah, blah, blah. And you talk about, you want to say, hey, he got radicalized, because there's another article, Christy Nome said, he got radicalized in Washington. Okay, sounds like you can also get radicalized when you're doing, covert ops, killing families and kids and things like that in Afghanistan. I mean, that screws with people's minds. I know vets that had minds screwed up over this stuff like that. Guess what the powers that be do? They don't care about those guys. Mostly they just let them, end up getting killed or shot out here and from PTSD and all that. Oh, there it is right here. Generally calm and maintain a clean record, though he suffered from PTSD. I could have bet the farm I would have saw that on here. This is the first time me reading this. As a member of Zero Unit, the suspect would have been virtually guaranteed a route to asylum, because members of these elite units were high on the list for Taliban retaliation after the group retook control of the country. Many members of these units played key roles of the August 2021 evacuation from Kabul and returned for the guarantee. So when Trump says he's going to get rid of these guys, he's pretty much all these guys before, we're going to send them to their death warrants, and apparently. Okay. Here's Rolling Stone. Fellow unit member says alleged DC shooter felt abandoned by CIA. The Afghan who served in U.S.-backed Zero Unit struggled with apparent mental health issues after migrating to America in 2021. And it says the alleged shooter of 2 National Guard members were struggling with mental illness, his ability to support his family. And according to the Afghan veteran who fought with him, his pleas to help to the CIA went unanswered. Again, as I'll play from Ryan Christian here, this is not saying what he did was good, condemn the violence, but you understand that there's something else was going on with this. It wasn't just because, oh, he's Muslim. Let me see.
Authorization. And this is after Trump.
So it just said he lost work at the laundromat because of authorization.
Gave him the asylum. After about a month ago, Laconwall told his unit mate that his inability to work due to missing immigration paperwork meant his family couldn't afford rent or food. This was a month ago. So now he's in this country after at least feeling like he put his life on the line for the American agenda. He's not allowed from the government that gave him asylum to get a work authorization. His family can't afford to eat. You know, that kind of desperation drives people to do desperate things. And this, again, is not to say it makes sense and I rationalize it. I'm just simply pointing out why people get to this place. And instead of going, he was an immigrant who was radicalized by terrorism, or he's a lefty maniac, or just diving into the partisan narratives, it's easy to see that there's much more behind all this. He resorted to borrowing money from friends and former unit members. And during the conversation, he broke down in tears from frustration and desperation, his unit said. His unit mate said Laconwall sought help in June from a CIA program designed to aid Zero Unit veterans with immigration issues. Rolling Stone reviewed a screenshot of the group chat in June where Zero Unit veterans shared information with a CIA representative about ongoing issues. Laconwall posted messages asking for help for all the reasons we just highlighted, that he's struggling, that he's mentally challenged with all this. And that's the wrong way to frame that, like that he is having mental issues because he's, what we'll get into more, he's actually dealing with, what do you call it? I'm blanking on the term for military when they go through that after they get back and they can't reassess. I forget what it's called, but they look at me in the chat. You guys, I'm sure will know it. I just can't remember it. But that he's dealing with something like that. Not that he's like, necessarily losing his mind, but that he's going through what many military people go through when they come back from war. Give me the name in the chat if you can remember what that's called. It's basic. It used to be called shell shock. I forget. Let me know. It drives me crazy. PTSD. Thank you. Love our chat. But so the point is that it's that kind of issue he's dealing with. And so he is struggling, can't feed his family, reaches out to the people that he's supposed to go to say, hey, I'm struggling. And they won't even respond to his messages. His last post went unanswered. And guess what? They've now verified that not only did it not get answered, but that it was deleted by the administrator of the chat. So not only are they pretending he's not saying that, they're hiding that he needs help. Why would they even do that if this is some kind of, well, obviously because it looks like it ended up in front of Rolling Stone, but that it was a CIA conversation and you're deleting that? These people don't care. Now, look, it could be that this guy's a terrible person. It wouldn't change what I'm trying to say about what the U.S. government does to its assets. And you guys, as Americans, we are all seen that way. If you haven't picked up on that by now, look back through every possible agenda you can, and it'll become very clear. Following the shooting in D.C., President Trump called it a terrorist attack. Right? And just the interesting overlap and the blame on Biden was the only real push, despite the fact. And obviously we saw the argument that, what are you, a stupid person? That's just, he's flustered. I mean, that's not an argument. Clearly that's meant to get his team to go, yeah, dumb Democrat. At the end of the day, it's clear that there was accountability here for both sides of this. And if you're going to be honest about who has more accountability, he'd probably be the last one to allow him to stay in the country, the last one to vet him. But yes, the government at large, both Biden's side of it and Trump, are equally responsible for what this is, clearly. And it says, after arriving in the United States, the Zero Unit veterans were vetted again before receiving special immigration visas. Now, who's to say whether that was the case, whether they were truly vetted? This is just what the reports are. And we should never trust reports that come from the government. Always, or anything for that matter. Question everything while considering all possibilities. But the reality is that they're claiming he was vetted extensively. Both this point and if they gave him asylum, that means Trump's administration vetted him too. But they're saying that he was given extensive vetting before receiving the status to come to the country. And it goes on to say, I think it's the next one. It's the next article, I think. The point was that they apparently, according to reports, were vetted more than just about any other process because of what the overlap was. My point in earlier shows was that we're dealing with assets here. We're dealing with intelligence. And I don't believe that they want to vet these things. I don't believe that they
So anyway, check that out. It'll be it's in the show notes. So just type in "Last America Vagabond." You'll see the clip. It's a 3-hour show, but this was just the part of the first 20 minutes. It gets into other things afterwards. Whistleblower. Here's something of the SAS units in Afghanistan shot dead asleep. Whistleblower reveals SAS units in Afghanistan shot dead asleep in couple in bed, badly injuring 2 toddlers with them. Killed a group of women and children under a mosquito net, took existing prisoners along the raids so they could be executed as though they posed a threat, placed weapons on the bodies of civilians the SAS had illegally killed to justify their murder. This went on for a year. Senior officials systematically covered up these war crimes. The whistleblower told a belated inquiry investigating summary executions of 80 people in Afghanistan by SAS units. We didn't join UKSF, this is United Kingdom Group, Special Forces, for this sort of behavior. Toddlers to get shot in their beds or random killing. It's not special. It's not elite. The inquiry under Lord Justin Hayden Cave is happening in place of a proper war crimes trial of the ICC. The ICC ducked prosecuting UK commanders and soldiers, even though its chief prosecutor had found plenty of evidence of UK forces committing war crimes. Why? The U.S. had recently intimidated the court, issuing severe sanctions on its judges and officials to dissuade them from pursuing war crimes allegations against U.S. forces. Presumably, the ICC got cold feet. The same story is being played in Gaza. There's the article, a little screenshot of Special Forces chief try to cover up concerns about SAS conduct in Afghanistan. Inquiry told. Yeah, sorry, Benedict. What happened is because I started early, so pride, no notification went out. So that's not my fault. I started about 45 minutes early today. November private payrolls unexpectedly fell by 32,000, led by steep small business job cuts, ADP reports. U.S. labor market slowdown intensified in November as private companies cut 32,000 workers and small business hit the hardest. Payrolls processed for ADP. The wannabe real estate moguls going bust. Mom and pop landlords built real estate empires using under-the-radar DSCR loans. Now it's coming back to bite them. Colombia warns it's on the brink of war with U.S. as president hits back at DJT. Gustavo Petro has issued an ominous warning to his U.S. counterpart after President DJT hinted at launching military strikes on countries producing narcotics. These guys want blood so badly now. He wouldn't need the peace presidents that no more new wars. Well, we're going to have a new war. Well, speaking of that, let me go ahead to generals singing in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Pete Hegseth, I wasn't in the room for the second boat attack. Anything he can do, the weasel is way out of this. Victim of family and drug boat killings files first formal complaint. Pope Leo warns U.S. against Venezuela war. IDF kills Palestinian photojournalist in Gaza. U.S. bombs Somalia for the 102nd time this year. Hey, we got a couple more weeks to go in the year 2025. Can we get to 110? Being sarcastic on there. I mean, they'll probably get the 105. I guarantee 105. 110, maybe. That's pushing it. Witkoff Kushner hold 5-hour meeting with Putin. U.S. helicopters used to kill civilians in Philippines. So locals say U.S. approves $1 billion in Saudi helicopter support training. Trump issued U.S. visa for sanctioned ICC deputy prosecutor. Okay. Mm-hmm. Polar vortex threat sends U.S. natural gas feuds to highest level since 2022. It's cold outside. I mean, it's darn cold outside. Right? Where I'm at, it's 35 right now, according to the temp in here. But yeah, and guess what? My bananas are still green. My pineapple's still green. My lime is still green. It is looking. I got the green, the heat lamps, the lights on them, the incandescent lights. And the frost cover, those things are nice and they looking nice. Everything else got to go. They have to get some frost, like the blueberries, blackberries, strawberries. They need the cold, and peach and all that. They need the cold to do something for next year. But the bananas won't make it through the cold like that, and neither will the pineapple or the lime. But man, they look good right now. The coffee plant's still green too. Power Up America needs 500,000 highly skilled workers. We've already pointed out that the money isn't a problem in America's unprecedented data center construction build out. Big tech's AI CapEx splurge is effectively endless thanks to vendor finance schemes, and the land is plentiful. The real bottleneck first was power, or rather lack of it, as the grid struggles to hook up hyperscalers sprinting forward and larger and even more power-hungry AI server racks. Because remember, you need a lot of water too to cool these bad boys down. Ford has announced it will invest $5 billion across its Kentucky and Michigan plants. Is that a correct statement? Says Trump. Ford CEO, that's right. POTUS, that's a lot. $5 billion. You could do more. Yeah, they're not Saudis. President Trump announces that he approves the production of an ultra-compact truck, which wasn't previously allowed in America due to government overreach. So now the government's pushing for the ultra compact. What is an ultra compact truck? Is that like that $8 burger that's an ultra compact burger with ultra compact fries? Here's some good tech stuff. Elon Musk says a device that can be controlled via computer or phone can be controlled by a Neuralink implant. Here is a video where Neuralink enabled a paralyzed ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease patient, to control a robotic arm and feed himself just by thinking. I mean, that's awesome. That's great. That's what that thing stuff's supposed to be. We're going to get into some nutty stuff here in a second. World's first jet suit race in Dubai. Okay. I won't lie. That would be fun as anything to have one of those, to be able to do that. I'll probably run into a tree or something like that, but I know everybody in the chat would want to do the same thing. All real footage, no CGI, no AI, no video speed up. Chinese company InGen AI has unveiled the T800. Now you know why I put Terminator in the title. The T8, they're calling it a T800. I mean, at least they didn't say T1000 or T100. They literally are calling it a T800. A powerful, full-size humanoid robot, cyber polymetal fibroid, 5'8" tall, 29 degrees freedom joints excluding hands, max joint torque at 450. Operational features include a 360-degree omnidirectional perception system, active leg joint cooling, and a battery life of 4 to 5 hours. This is like you change the battery and then it becomes a nuclear bomb. Look at that thing. This goes on for 3 minutes. Where's Sarah Connor when you need her? Look at it. It's all fun and games until they start shooting back. It seems legit. China has officially entered the era of flying taxis. 2 Chinese companies have obtained a commercial operations certificate for autonomous passenger drones from the CAAC, the Civil Aviation Administration of China. I mean, Uber's been talking about doing this for years. Here's James Cameron's to make a new Terminator film before the modern world catches up to his ideas. Cameron says we're living in a sci-fi world. We're having to deal with problems that in the past only existed in books and films. Now we're living it for real. And a lot of people jumped on him saying, you made some terrible movies already. Give your own vision of the war in the future a chance. I thought this was cool. Frameless exhibition in London, the storm on the Sea of Galilee. So they tried to recreate what the storm on the Sea of Galilee would have looked like. This is very cool to see. And in funny news, a raccoon gets drunk in an ABC liquor store in Ashland, Virginia, and passes out in the bathroom. Hanover County Animal Protection says the raccoon ransacked the store before passing out next to the toilet. Officer Martin safely secured the masked bandit and transported him back to the shelter to sober up before questioning. Hanover County Animal Protection and Shelter said in a statement, after a few hours of sleep and zero signs of injury other than maybe a hangover and poor life choices, he was safely released back to the wild. Hopefully, having learned that breaking and entering is not the answer. I wonder what his chief best drink was. To this day in history, 1984, gas leak in India. 2000, Gwendolyn Brooks, a Pulitzer Prize winner and poet, spoke to an everyday struggles and triumphs of African Americans, died in Chicago. 1967, Christian Bernard of South Africa, the first human heart transplant. 1947, Tennessee Williams, A Streetcar Named Desire, appeared in the 1951 film adaptation. It premiered in Broadway. 1895, Anna Fried, the founder, child psychoanalyst, and one of the foremost practitioners, was born in Vienna. 1857, English writer Joseph Conrad, whose notable works included the novel Lord Jim and the novella Heart of Darkness, was born. 1854, after hastily constructing a fortification and barricading themselves inside, diggers working in the Eureka goldfield in Victoria, Australia, opened fire on government forces surrounding the stockade, the culmination of long-standing grievances on the part of the diggers. 1818, Illinois was unfortunately admitted as the 21st state of these United States of America. Voluntarily admitted. You can voluntarily leave. 1721, German composer Johann Sebastian Bach married his second wife, Anna Wilkin, the daughter of a trumpeter in Westenfels. In 1552, St. Francis Xavier, the leading Roman Catholic missionary of modern times, died of fever off the coast of China. Again, his feast days today. Anyway, God love you. Have a great rest of the night. Talk to you. Maybe I'll probably talk to you tomorrow. It's going to be a busy day for me tomorrow. Check out sunsetfidelium.tv for the app. And if the worst case, we'll see me in the news from the pew with Rick. But anyway, I'll see you. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great night. Thank you as always.